One thing that strikes me, seeing you all there, is just the incredible level of opportunity you have. I think like no other generation before you. But I'm also here to tell you it's going to be a little bit scary and intimidating. So I think in the next 30 or 40 years, the world will change more and change more quickly than, say, what I grew up with. When I thought, say, when I was 15 years old, what would my job be like being a professor? And how is it like now? It's actually not that different. When my daughter was 12, I talked to her about careers. Now she's 35. What she and I talked about, it's really not that different now. But we're on the verge with artificial intelligence of all of our jobs being different. We're likely to be wealthier and wiser, but it won't be possible to set out a fixed course of what we should do and exactly what kind of person we should be. I sometimes tell people that if you're not a little scared by this, I don't actually trust that you're awake. But that said, I think we are truly on this revolutionary era in the best sense of the term. I recall the last time I was in Guatemala City 12 years ago. It was just much poorer, less interesting than it is today. And back then I went around, I gave some talks, I was on some radio shows, and I kept on saying, I feel something so dynamic here. No one was persuaded by me. I'm this outsider. What do I know about Guatemala? Of course, I'm from the United States. I had this very positive feeling. And again, everyone I spoke to was just pessimistic. It was, the world was on the verge of ending. But we fast forward 12 years later, since end of the pandemic, Guatemala's been growing about 4% a year in terms of GDP. If you look around Central America, Latin America, very few countries match that. Sometimes Panama does better. The United States doesn't match that. Right now, China isn't matching that. So you're catching up on pretty much the whole world. I mean, that's really something to be proud of and something very special. So I just got here again today, but I hope things are more optimistic because you've all earned it. I think what's also special here, and I cannot stress how unique this is just the quality of a part of your elite. And I mean the elite and the leaders who stand behind Francisco Marroquín. I've been to all the other Central American, actually Latin American countries. Nowhere else in Central America is there anything remotely like this. In the United States, now we talk a lot about El Salvador, Bukele. It's all very complicated. But we should be talking about Guatemala. You're growing much more rapidly than they are. I went to El Salvador in August. I wanted to see what was going on. I spoke to a lot of people. I go, what do you think of El Salvador? They wanted to talk about Guatemala. They said, well, it's not growing as fast as Guatemala. We wish we had their economy. That's pretty remarkable. So, there are many factors behind that. I don't pretend to understand them all. But really a big one is this university, the leadership behind it, the leadership you've produced. And you don't do that without dedicated people who adhere to ideas of liberty and promote them and really devote their lives to that. So just as an outsider, not being an expert in Guatemala, yes, I'm here to celebrate with you, but also to tell you both what a special time this is and what a special place this is. So I'm very, very honored to be here again, and I also look forward to the next time I see you all. Thank you again for this incredible honor. Good night.